Okay, now we're going to deal with the DropPiece function, okay, which is right here in the main loop. Okay, so click on DropPiece and it will go to the DropPiece function, which we haven't programmed yet. Okay, so the DropPiece simply drops the piece down the screen unless there are blocks or pieces in the way, or it reaches the bottom of the screen, and then of course it stops and it places the piece whenever it hits something below it. Okay, so to make the piece drop down the screen, we simply take the current piece Y position that we defined earlier equal to the current piece Y position plus 1. Okay, now when we run the program, you'll notice that it just does it once. In fact, we get essentially the same results that we got last time. Okay, so what we're going to use is the return command. Okay, and this returns the value of the function. Okay, so that recalls the function. So it's like calling somebody and then calling somebody again. This calls the function and then calls it again until a condition changes. Okay, so in this case I'm just going to put return and then I'm going to run the program. Okay, and nothing happens because this is return 0 or return false. Okay, so if I run it again, exactly the same thing, but we want it to return true for this condition. Okay, and now it drops down the screen because it keeps on recalling the function. Okay, so it just keeps on recalling it until something happens. We can put that in the function as well. When it drops and it hits the bottom of the screen, we can tell it to stop or return false, or when it hits something we can tell the function to return false. But at the moment it's just returning true and it's just dropping down the screen. That's all it's doing, and it just keeps on going. Okay, so we need to tell the function to stop or return false when it hits the bottom of the screen, or we need it to return false when it hits another piece. Okay, so we need to do those two things. Okay, so first let's put in a position on the board, and we already know what a position of the piece. Okay, so a piece is 0, 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, or whatever it might be for the piece. Okay, so we need to check all these positions for the piece. Okay, so a piece position is denoted as this, which we did earlier. That just means a position on the piece. If piece, this expression just means a position on the piece. If the position on the piece is not equal to 0, then it has a block in it. Okay, so that just means check this one, check this one, check this one, check this one, or check this one, check this one, check this one, check this one. Okay, or for whatever piece it is. So if there's a block in the piece, or if the piece is, that part of the piece is not empty, yeah, it's part of the shape. Okay, so if the piece is not empty, also we want to check the bottom of the board. Okay, and it will reach the bottom of the board at current piece y plus the height of the piece, which is y iter, plus 1, okay, equals 23. Because remember, it's 0 to 22 for the board, okay? So that's why I put 23 and plus 1. I could easily put that, and that would be when it reaches the bottom of the board. But we always want it less than, okay? Because it will be continuing to fall down the board when it is this is less than this, i.e. it hasn't reached the bottom of the board. Okay? So we simply put nested if current piece y plus y iter plus 1 is less than 23, i.e. is not at the bottom of the board, so it is not blank and it is not at the bottom of the board. Okay, so what we're actually doing is checking the pieces below it. Okay, so then we need to check the board. So we've checked the piece, we've checked the piece is not at the bottom of the board. Okay, so we've checked that the part of the piece has a block in it, and we've checked that it's not at the bottom of the board. Then we need to check the board. If board and current piece x plus the how wide it is, which is x iter, and the current piece y position plus its width, sorry, its height, plus 1. Don't forget, because it's less than 23, so we need to add 1 to it, is not equal to 0. So if the board is not clear, there's a block in the way, then we want to return false. Okay, so just to go through that again, if the piece is filled, i.e. there's a block in that part of the Tetris piece, i.e. it's part of the shape, it's a 1. And if it's not at the bottom of the screen, and if there is a piece in its way on the board, then we want the function to fail. Yes, to not continue to execute, continue to go. Okay? For all other conditions, i.e. it is at the bottom of the board, we simply put else return false also, i.e. it is at the bottom of the board. And then we need to close this end if. Remember, this is we don't need if end if for this, because we have if then. Okay, so that's a complete statement. Okay, and this is if else end if for that statement. And we need to close this one, end if. Okay, now you look at that and you think, oh, maybe that's going to work. We haven't. The thing we have to do with every piece, every time we do this, we have to cycle through. If you remember, we have to cycle through all the pieces. Okay, so we simply did that last time. Control C, so we can take that from here. So we're cycling through all the pieces, and we can close this with 2 next statements. So I will just tabulate that. There we go. And we close it with the 2 next statements for, and let's go next And next, that's not tabulated properly. Just tabulate that properly. How should we do this? Okay. Okay. You might think that, well, that's not 100% correct. It is doing the right thing, but what we need to do is we need to check the bottom of every piece where I've got the green in here. Yes? We need to check the bottom of the piece of every single rotation. Okay? So it doesn't matter what the piece, we've got to check it from the bottom up. Okay? So we don't want to check the top of the piece, we want to check the bottom. Okay? So we want to go 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, we can go 0, 1, 2, 3 across here, it doesn't matter. Yes? But we want to check it from the bottom up. So we go like this, we check it like this. Okay, for every single piece. Okay, so it checks from the bottom up. So when that green, where I've put the green in, when it hits something that is not empty on the board, not equal to 0, the function will stop working, i.e. it will stop dropping the piece. So we need to go, for the Y iteration, we need to go 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, and we can simply do this by reversing this. 3, 2, 0, step -1. Okay, you must put this in step -1, otherwise it will automatically assume step 1 and it will just go 3, and that'll be it. Okay, so that's pretty much the DropPiece function. Okay, so if we run this now, wait for the piece to drop down the screen, current piece Y equals current piece Y plus 1, it's returning true, returning true, returning true, etc. Okay, and then it hits the bottom of the screen and it disappears. Okay, so it's not going to do it a second time because we haven't put that in yet, and we haven't put other pieces in yet. That's because the place piece function hasn't been done yet, and the place piece function places it there and keeps it there and then sends for another block. Okay, but it is all there. Okay, and you will be able to see next time when we talk about the place piece function and then the clear lines function. Okay,